What's up? What's up?
What's up?
This is Daniel Cloud Campos, the one and only. Today we're gonna have an interview in this episode, so stay tuned.
Okay, I'm reloaded.
My name is Daniel Cloud Campos, and I like to make stuff, and I like to dance. I like to tell stories, and I like to be a little kid. Yeah, and I like to figure out what life is about. Battles or performance? Well, performance for sure. I retired from battling because I've never been a fan of battling, because it just never was something that felt right to me. Competition in general never felt right for me because I never liked to prove them better than anybody else. It's a separation. I feel like it's a separation from the people, because they say you're better, I'm better than you, you're better than me. You know, it's a disconnect. You know, the reason why I dance, I like to just share and connect with others. But performing wise, that's why I like to perform, because it's my way of sharing with people. And it feels like I'm able to project a part of who I am with everybody else without any egotistical, drawback from it. So I definitely like performing because it's a more positive way for me to express who I am. You have to remember that when you feel insecure to go into a circle, everybody in the circle around you also feels the same way. They're all feeling insecure to go into the circle. So therefore, you're not alone, And I said that, like, if you have a bunch of people standing around a pool and everyone's afraid to jump in, it's almost like gives you the freedom to be like, I'm the first that's gonna jump in this thing, and you go, all right guys, let's just go, and you jump in, and then people, that inspires people to just let go. I almost like to think of it as a responsibility to be the first to inspire somebody to follow the lead, facing your insecurities. Sometimes I feel like I look at that with myself. I say, I'm terrified, but I could lead by example by being terrified and going out there. And somebody goes, well, he did it, and a lot of people misunderstand that. They feel like I'm not scared because it doesn't show in my work. But I'm terrified every time before I go out on stage. I'm like sweating, I have anxiety, my stomach's turning, but I know if I do go out there, I feel like I just give myself a responsibility to inspire others and to lead by example. And so if you just remember that everybody else is as terrified as you are, because we're all human and we all have these emotions, because that's what makes us human, and that's the beautiful part about it, is by having those anxieties and those emotions and those feelings of uncontrollable anxiety of highness, like you are proving to yourself that you are living, that you're actually alive, that you have a pulse, that you have emotions, and that's what makes up a human being, is emotions. So also see it in that way, that it's a gift to feel. As much as it's uncomfortable to feel those feelings, it's actually a gift as well, because you're like, damn, I'm alive. You could have a normal day, everyday routine, be comfortable, but that's not living. It's in those moments that you live, because you remember them forever. That one time before I went on stage where I was so terrified, and I could remember so clearly what I felt in that moment, and it's a stamp in your life. So those are the goods and bads, or what makes life. It's a balance. I'm a perfectionist. I'm a huge perfectionist of my art, because I expect high things from me, and that's a good thing in a lot of ways. It's a bad thing in a way if if you give up because it's not perfect. If you keep trying to make it perfect, I think that's a positive way of approaching it. Nothing's perfect, but if it makes it into a place that it feels like it meets your standards of perfectionism, then then I think it's a positive thing. But if you give up on something because it's not perfect, then that's when I feel like you miss out on many things in life that you do. But I deal with it. I struggle with it all the time with the perfectionism, and there's a lot of things I turned my back from. But years later, I came back to it because I developed my taste level and my skills, and I was able to actually accomplish it because I just wasn't ready. Sometimes it's timing, and I think the best thing to do when you're dealing with those things like that is to walk away from it, because maybe you're just not ready to create the thing that you're trying to do. You're just not ready for it. You're not skilled enough, you're not experienced enough. You go off and work somewhere else and you develop these muscles and you come back to it. For me personally, like my story behind it is I didn't get into the dance to make money, I did it because I had no choice, because I just couldn't stop thinking about it. And so I did it every day, and I trained at it. Just like anybody would train at anything to become somebody like a doctor or something like that, or somebody, an architect or anything like that, they work on their craft every day towards it. Difference with me with the dance is that it wasn't to pursue anything, but without me even knowing it, I was developing this craft that was worth something, But I did it from a place of love and no expectations, and my path guided me there, because I danced from a pure place and created from a pure place, that attracted my way into, having a financial career from it. So it just depends on what you want. For me, I feel like if you're dancing to make a living, to make money, and that's why you want to do it, I will say it's a very hard thing to get into, because dancers, it's hard to be a really well paid off dancer, because dancers are just passionate people, and they would do anything for almost nothing. And we kind of dig ourselves our own holes because we're just so passionate about it. And people know the worth of dancers, and they know how much they can take advantage of us, especially in the commercial world. So they treat us like, I would give you $200 for this job. And dancers would be like, and it's like a 12-hour day, you know what I mean? It's for 3 days of shooting, and you get $200 from it. And you kill your body, and dancers would be like, okay. A lot of them sell themselves short, because for them, making any type of money with dance, is incredible, you know what I mean? So, they sell themselves, dancers tend to naturally sell themselves short because they're humble about their craft. They don't really necessarily believe sometimes that they're worth more, and so it's definitely a hard thing. I was fortunate enough to have a very successful financial career with dance, but I know I have many friends who have had the struggle of a dancer, many friends, and yeah. So I would say, first enjoy the moments of dance right now when you're learning it, and don't miss out on those moments, because doing anything to expect something in the end, you're always gonna be disappointed. I was teaching this in my class the other day. I told people if you feel silly and you feel stupid, that's amazing, because you're doing something that's outside of your comfort zone, and you're exploring new parts of who you are and the way you move and stuff like that. So I'm totally I tell people to embrace those moments of feeling crappy, you know, like feeling like, ooh, this feels awful in my body, like, and it looks like crap, and you're like, yeah, that's great, you know, because that's how you learn stuff, and at the end of the day, and you don't take yourself too seriously. Like the one, don't worry, be happy. It's the same concept, I think. So shout out to Break to Teach. This is Danny Cloud Campos and doing an interview, and yeah.